Hello, hello. How's it going tonight? How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another session of Life in Haiti. Happy Monday to you all. Happy Monday, everybody. How's it going? As you come in, kindly give this live a like. Give this live a like. Stallion says, Philly, can we say Ghana to the world too? Ghana to the world. Okay. Hello, Seal. How's it going? And thank you for joining me live tonight. All of my peoples, let me know if y'all can see me pretty well. We know this internet is it's always sometime acting up in Haiti. So I'm hoping you all can see me and hear me very well. We have a special guest tonight, you all. Very, very intelligent woman. Very intelligent woman who have a dynamic story, a story that I feel everyone should hear. And not only that, it should be able to help other people. Um, the truth, hello, Forgotten King. The thing about this story tonight is hitting home for me. Comment tout moun mwen yo ye tou? Comment tout moun ye? Tout moun en forme? Bel lundi. Konen ap travay an pil moun la kayo yo nan neige. I know a lot of people are stuck in the house due to the weather. Make the best of it. Get some rest. I know some of you all do nothing but work, 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 work. So try to enjoy this time off. But we have a great guest tonight, and her story actually hit home, you all. And I'm about to bring her on so that I can introduce her to you all. But one of the main things about this story that just says, you know what, it's right on time. Yesterday, you all going through Facebook, make it quick. I came across a post that blew my mind. And it was a friend of mine that I actually did time with that, you know, we lived in the same dorm. And she had killed herself, you all. I couldn't believe it. The people who were posting it, I had to call Houston, find somebody to talk to before I could believe it. And here I am thinking, hey, I'm in Haiti and I'm thinking I'm in a worse situation. I'm deported, you know, I'm this, I'm that. I should be, you know, to some people, but thank God he kept me. And she's in the States with all the opportunities. So you all, I hope that you all welcome this guest, like this live, give this live a like. And remember, you all, tell somebody you love them. We never know what people are going through, okay? So when we think people are okay, you just never know. You never know. Hello, Mama Nina, JT, my number one fan, my sis. Hello, sis. How's it going? So you all, let's welcome the guest tonight. Hello, my sister. How's it going?
Hello, beautiful people. I'm good. I'm good. I mean, you know, today I'm actually really good. I think I had a really balanced day. Some days, you know, you work a lot and you feel drained at the end, but I don't feel that. I don't know if it's because I knew I was coming here today, but I feel ready. I feel happy. I feel balanced. I feel hopeful. I don't know. The sun is shining down on me today, so thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
That's right. I'm glad. I'm glad. Positivity. And I'm glad that vibe rode off on you way over there where you at too. Please introduce yourself to the Life in Haiti audience, to the Life in Haiti people. Let the people know who you are.
Hey, hi everybody. My name is Audrey Augustave. I am a Haitian American. So I am one of the first people in my family born here in the United States. I'm from Jersey, I'm a Jersey girl. Um, I am a licensed counselor. I've worked predominantly with substance abuse population, but now I work in private practice. I work with couples, but I also still, specialize with, addiction. In addition to that, I mean, I am writing my first manuscript because I'm very interested in taking the work that I do as a counselor to the Caribbean. So I'm starting to do some research on, the prevalence of substance abuse counseling in the Caribbean landscape, which is a very under-researched, underrepresented topic. So that's a bit of who I am. And I'm just starting a podcast, which is launching tomorrow. And actually the first guest of my podcast was Marie. So that's all the things that I'm doing right now.
That's awesome, my sister. Very intelligent, representing Haiti all the way in New Jersey in a positive way. That is just awesome. Okay. Now, one of the reasons why initially when I first spoke with you, I wanted to invite you to the show is because you are a counselor.
Hmm.
Can you explain to the people the importance of us getting counsel or talking to people about seeing a counselor?
Oh God. I mean, it's so important. Here's the thing, right? I don't know about you, but there's something about processing your feelings out loud. You know, sometimes we think something and it's in our head, or even if we write it, we're connected to it in a certain way, but there's something about talking our feelings out that helps us understand and access what our real root issues are. Because I think one of the concepts that exists in counseling world is that we have our primary emotions and we have our secondary emotions, right? And so let's say for argument's sake, what I experience from my mother or something is rejection. And uh, through having that happen over and over again, maybe I'm angry and I'm defensive. So my secondary emotion, how you would see me, is somebody that's angry and defensive and having a lot of contempt. But at the root of it, what I really am is a person with a rejection wound, right? And so if we're walking through the world believing that what I am is a person that's angry, then we're going to think what I need to do is I need to deal with my anger. I need to deal with anger management. But when you sit and you talk to somebody, you have a counselor and you process your history, you process, the root causes, some of your fears and all of that stuff, then you're able to identify, oh, what I have is a rejection wound. And so you can come up with an intervention that suits your actual root issue better, and sometimes, you know what, I don't even want to go that far as like the importance of counseling, because it almost seems like you need counseling if something is wrong, and honestly that's not true. I am a firm believer that actually you don't need to have something wrong to benefit from counseling. You can just be transitioning in life. I just became a mother, and even if I'm happy that I'm a mom, because I just need to talk these things out because I'm not familiar with this role, and sometimes I might feel insecure about certain things, you could still benefit from having a counselor. So counseling is not always like about being mentally ill or being sick or struggling with a behavior. Sometimes it's just about having a healthy, unbiased, objective space to process your life so that you can grow as a person.
That's right. One of the biggest things with your platform that I know would be such a big blessing is in Haiti, in our country. I'm not sure when is the last time you Have you ever been to Haiti, my sister?
I've been to Haiti. It's been a while. It's been a long time. It's so crazy because I was just organizing to go again in my adulthood, and then here comes COVID-19. But it has been since my childhood, like before I was 10.
Before you were 10. I apologize. The internet is coming in and out. With your platform, the whole, as I roam around in our country, my sister, we have a country that is full of broken people. Okay.
Mm,
And I would say I'm a broken person too in my own little way. So it's not to judge anybody or to point fingers, but a lot of times, okay, um, and that is why I always encourage good people to get advice from, to speak to help me, But so many young men, so many young women in Haiti need your platform. They need
mhm,
to understand that it's okay to have somebody to speak to. It's okay to be able to be emotional, to have somebody to share those emotions with and not hold them in, because so many people are hurting, but they don't know how to go about expressing that
mhm.
pain. They don't know
Absolutely.
how to go about expressing that pain. Do you see yourself coming to Haiti one day and being a counselor in Haiti?
I'm actually already in the works of developing strategies to I'm interested in the Caribbean region as a whole, but even like my aunt is in the process of working towards creating a center in Haiti, and she reached out to me to help develop the counseling portion of it. Because honestly, it doesn't matter what kind of infrastructural business you create in a nation like Haiti, if we're not addressing the interpersonal issues, then we're never getting to the heart of the matter. I mean, yeah, you can create uh, a place for kids to have, after school programs or get more education, etc. But there's so much
Mm-hmm.
trauma as a result of what the political framework of the nation is that we have a responsibility to impact the people from inside out as well, right? So we can't just think of helping a place like Haiti as, oh, let me donate money, oh, let me send food, oh, let me, I understand because there's basic human needs like shelter, food, water. So when there's basic human needs, there's this concept called the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? And so what that says is, we address our needs in a particular way. So pretty much it's a way of saying, if I don't know where my next plate of food is, I'm not going to be thinking about what my dream job is, right? I mean, that doesn't make sense. So of course, where we should be focusing our initial efforts has to be about basic survival that a lot of people in Haiti may or may not have. But in addition to that, what people do when they're stable, this is why you see people that very often that have a criminal background, they're in and out of the system, in and out of the system, is because the infrastructure mentally is not addressed. If I witnessed my parent pass away, if I feel abandoned as a child, if I feel, all of the things that come with extremes of poverty, so a lot of aggressive behaviors because everybody is fighting for scraps, if so, this kind of bravado that comes behaviorally, all of that needs to be dismantled in an infrastructural level. It can't just be about getting people the basics for the sake of functioning, like physiologically, like drinking, eating, having a shelter. There needs to be some inside work as well.
Hmm. Okay, my sister, The internet's coming in and out, so I'm kind of hearing you at the end, but awesome. Do you feel that depression, my sister, has a lot to do with Haiti's infrastructure? Do you feel that a lot of the ways our people handle things, respond to things, do you think that Haiti is a country that struggle with depression, major depression?
Hmm. Well, I don't like to throw out diagnosis if I'm not there hands on. I think there's more trauma that leads to a like a mindset of lack, right? And so what that means is all of my functioning is going to be about doing what I can to survive in the now. It's not going to be investment functioning, right? And so if I'm doing what I can, just think about like how an addict lives, right? An addict is living day to day. They're just trying to do what they got to do so that they can get through today. Okay, functioning through the day, and tomorrow doesn't matter. So in a lot of ways, like when you're in this a level of desperation, it's not about the depressive state that you're in. It's about the fact that you're not functioning for thrival. You're functioning for survival. So it doesn't matter how what you do impacts community because you're just trying to have a plate of food for tomorrow. It doesn't matter what offense you're bringing to systems. You know what I'm saying? So this is why a parent can feel comfortable pulling their young child out of school to send them to work because it's about survival. Okay,
Survival.
you're not thinking about the long-term investment that you're taking away from your child's life by taking them out of school. You're thinking about I need to make an extra 5 to $10 a day so that I can make sure we're eating. So I think the real issue with the extreme levels of poverty and non-education and trauma that we have in Haiti, it's not about depression. It's about what happens when people get in survival mode. And so every decision is a short-term decision. It's about what I need to do to feel like I'm above ground and I'm not drowning right now.
That's very true. You say that because a lot of time, as I deal with my peoples, it's always about the instant decisions. They're not making decisions to actually build a relationship. They're thinking about what it is that can be got right then and there, and will be willing to sacrifice a relationship in the long run for
Mm-hmm.
just what today has to offer. And you're right, my sister, it has a lot to do with the state of people are in survival mode. And when people are in survival mode, they do not have time to focus on the extra. One thing Nurse Sarah was saying is that so many of our, especially in our Black community,
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to acknowledge that a lot of times people are going through something and counseling would help. Like, what would you say to those people? Est-ce que vous parlez créole? Ou gon ti créole sou tout?
Guilty Creole, mais I'm nervous about my Creole. I'm a little, like shy, so
Ah, wè bezwe nervis. Bam di yo, mwen pa fò nan kreol la, e chak jou m'a pa pran. Mem di yo, moun mwen yo pa moun ki interesant, chéri. Paske an pil moun ki ap gade nou, yo gen ti moun tankou ki fet os Etats-Unis, fwem sem yo, sa vle di, nou ka bayon ti kreol tou. E li bel, paske ou pa fet Haiti, men toujou di moun ou pa ka gen yon paran ki
Mhm.
haisyen, haisyen, e pou di mou pa kon nou mou kreol. Non,
Oui,
manti.
je comprends
Paske
tout
ou
mon
konen mèm
créole,
lò
mais depuis
pala
que
ve
besoin
yon anglais
parler,
tout jouden.
c'est me comprendre tout mon créole, mais c'est depuis me
Oui.
besoin parler, me gagne un problème parce que gen de lè m'a chercher mot non, m'a chercher mot pas comprendre ouais, mais me comprendre tout. tout ça que tout le monde a dit, mais c'est l'homme veut parler, il y a un problème.
Ah, eh ben, ok. Mais on va parler bien, vous comprenez, pour nous bail, un pile monde tout qui a gardé nous en créole, pour nous ka entrer yo. Non,
Mhm.
ça on va faire tout, parce que nous avons monde qui suivent nous, c'est créole yo parler. Et m'ta mais pour
Mhm.
yo un petit gens comprendre, et pour yo bienvenue tout dans plateforme na aswe.
Ok, ok. Bon, ou t'a
One
demandé
of the,
une question? Ok,
uh,
go ahead.
okay. One of the things I was gonna say, what do you say, Tunku, what do you say to people who don't understand like how important it is for us to be there for each other?
Mm,
Because, and I'll make a little comment on this before we go further, and then you can speak. Having a friend of mine, you all recently passing away, okay? And her holding that in. Mwen gen yon zami, pou moun mwen yo tou an kreol, paske mwen ap ekri man kreol. Mwen gen yon zami, li moun nan sa Ameriken li el ton moun normal. En pi, avan yam nan Facebook, map gade, en pi mwen ke l tiye tet mi. Telman bagay sa fem sezi, l deranje m net. E se rele map rele pou mande, eske sa mwen ap li an se verite. An pil fwa nou pa jam kompren importans liye pou nou cheke moun ki nan la vi nou. E pa men moun ki nan la vi ou non. Ou gen do an nan bus station, ou gen do an kote, en pi ou we an moun chagrin. Gen do an pi gwo baga ou ka fe pou moun nan, se mandel ki jon ye, bale yon kompliment, un bagay
mm,
konsa, ou gen do an sauve la vi moun nan. Paske ti fi an ti moun normalite, bel ti fi, ki moun ki ta pense ke li ta jis chita lal ti etet li.
mm,
E oken moun, a tout moun ki avel yo, yon moun
mm,
baka do pou ki rezon ti etet li. So to speak in English, you all, my friend recently, a friend of mine recently killed herself in the States. And it broke my heart. I could not believe it. Such a nice girl, very sweet, not even talkative, broke my heart. And here I am thinking, God have taken us through so much and set our foot on solid ground. And he took me on one path and kept her on one path. And actually, I'm praying we could have switched paths because she was still in the States, had all the opportunities. But that lets you know when what you may want may not be what anybody else want, you know? She ended up killing herself. And I'm telling you, my sister, I really, really welcome you to the stage. And I need you to really, really put into my people's head just how important it is to support the people in our lives, to check on each other, because we never really, really know what a person is going through. You never know what your child is going through. You just never know. And a lot of times, I'm going to get off the stage. We think when we read these stories, that can't happen to us
mm,
until a month later, it's in your house.
mm. Yeah, I mean, the truth is actually everybody has a story and everybody's carrying pain. And I would say, yeah, it's important for us to be mindful and reach out to one another, but I think an even greater kind of way of taking care of each other is being mindful in a way that be careful of the kind of judgmental comments we're making about things that we think are not in our home. So I can be watching TV and passively saying something, oh my God, look at people that, why would somebody make a choice like this? Why would somebody be gay? Or why would I say, I could say, make a comment negative about a certain kind of person, not knowing that this person that's sitting next to me is carrying this secret. I could be sitting next to you and talking about, oh my God, look at these felons, look at these people that committed crime. Oh no, of course you deserve to get deported, not even knowing that that's your story, right? And now you feel judged by me, and you don't feel like you can turn to me over something that you might be insecure about, right? And so, yeah, of course, when you have people around, show up to them with love, but also be mindful of random comments you're making about third parties that you
Mm-hmm.
think don't apply to the people around you, because you don't know what skeletons people have. And you don't know, every time that we're passively making a comment about those kind of people, how often the person right next to us is like, that's why I don't talk to you. That's why I don't open up to you. There's so much shame. I mean, I'm going to be transparent. My brother is in recovery for addiction, and this is not the kind of thing that we talk about in the Haitian community, is addiction. This is, especially we're an educated family. Many of
Mm-hmm.
us have bachelors, masters, we have doctors and stuff in our family. I mean, we've come a long way as a family system. And so I think even within the family system, everybody doesn't know this about my brother. But the truth is, this is him. If he was in a space, if we live in a world where he was free to maybe claim this part of his identity, or he could be a story of triumph, but because it's something that people are ashamed of, or that can cause stigma, or not get a job, or it's like we have to hide these major parts of ourselves. So showing up to people with love, it's such a hard thing, because I think a lot of times we think that when we're empathetic, that we're losing, we're taking the loss. I mean, I work with so many clients who are angry about something, and they're dealing with somebody who's equally angry or in pain, and they're always waiting for the other person to apologize, or waiting for the other person to extend an olive branch. And I'm gonna tell you, I just attended my uncle's funeral about, today's Monday, 7 days ago. It was last Monday. I attended his funeral, and my cousin had to make amends with him before he passed away, but they had been estranged on and off for many years because of how much they struggled to get along, because there was so much pride between both of them to just humble themselves and love each other. And you know how Haitian community is. Oh, the daughter is supposed to do everything. I'm some whatever, all this stuff. And so it's they robbed each other of a beautiful parent-child relationship because they were too busy hurting instead of loving, and they were carrying the same pain. Every time I'm around my uncle, he's asking me about my cousin. Every time I'm around my cousin, she's somehow kind of mentioning my uncle. But you get put them in the same room, and it's hi, but they're not really talking. I mean, think about it. I think every person that's hearing this message can think of one person that I should make amends with that person. Even, and it doesn't mean reconnecting, right? But it can just mean, we know when we owe somebody an apology, but maybe we don't give it because we're afraid they're not going to be kind in their ability to accept it. They might just be like, I don't care. I don't need your apology.
Accept it.
you know? But we know when we could have done better. And we know when we owe it to not even them, but to ourselves, the growth and the humility of being the kind of person that extends that, listen, man, I could have done better by you. We know that. We know when we're being stubborn. We know when we want to call somebody, we think of this person on their birthday, but oh, they're not going to want to hear from me. That's the lie we tell ourselves, right? Oh, they're not going to want to hear from me. They don't like me anymore. It wouldn't bother them, because we're afraid, right? It's like all of this is fear. We're avoiding these rejection experiences because we're carrying so much pain.
My sister, not to interrupt you, but
Go ahead.
I wanted to tell you, because in our community, okay, we have such strong-minded people,
Oof.
parents alike, and being the child, we grow up stubborn too, okay? I really want you to try to touch base on that in Creole so that our Haitian parents, it don't have to be quick. C'est pour nous apprendre, pour nous pardonner une à l'autre. I'll make you speak
Mhm.
Creole tonight, girl. Just have fun.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
That's Creole is us. Haïtien c'est nous-mêmes. Uh, M'ta remè ou di un ti bagay kon sa an Creole parce que trop moun nou yo, trop Haïtien, tout jounen tankou nou pa kon ki jan pou nou pardonne yon ak lot. Nou
Mhm.
pito tankou e mwen menm ki gran moun. E an pil fwa nou konen nan kominote a, maman e papa li gen do an to. Men menm le, se yon nan pitit yo kap fe sa, menm le maman mentor, menm le papa mentor, map toujou desan mwen. Men kom
Mhm.
ou maman ki gen pitit ki os Etats-Unis, m konen m te leve nan diferent sistem. Gen de pafwa, si ke se mwen menm ki an to, se vwe, m ka, un ti jan desan mwen, di pitit mwen, pardonne. Let our people know just how important that is because we destroy relationships. Just real quick,
Mhm.
bon un ti bagay
Ok.
an Creole.
Ok, ok. Premièrement, créole moi pas bon, mais m'a essayé. Ok, merci. Ok. Ça m'tap dit c'est que tonton moi vin mourir. Et m'gen yon cousine ça c'est petit tonton moi. Yo pas de parler. Toute vie yo te gen yon relation, si yo te nan même, how you say room? Si yo te ensemble, yo te fâché, ok?
Nan
Um,
menm cham.
oui, dans la même chambre, ils étaient toujours fâchés l'un contre l'autre, ok? Et tellement que, I don't know how to say this very well, huh? I'm sorry.
Tell
But
me and I'll translate.
I'm just trying to say that they spent their whole life not having a relationship.
Yo fè tout vi yo pa gen yon relasyon avèk yon ak lot.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So,
And I'm listening.
I'm just saying the issue is everybody thinks it's the other person's job to make the first act of forgiveness or to show up first to apologize.
Chak moun pense ke se job li mem, e job lot moun nan pou mande pardon anvan.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm your
so,
translator.
thank you, thank you. So there's so much time has been wasted between family members, people who love each other, because they were too afraid to be rejected if they tried first.
Mm-hmm. Repeat that one more time.
So much time was wasted because
An
people were
pil
too
tan
afraid,
perdi
because people were afraid to try
paske
first because they
chak
were
moun
afraid
te
to be
pe
rejected.
pou yo mande pardon anvan paske yo pat vle takou pou pa aksepte pardonner.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, sis. This is good, really, because our community, we need that, okay? We need more counselors in Haiti. So many children are growing up depressed, could be
Mm-hmm.
so much more successful. They could, like, their potential could be so much bigger if they weren't so depressed too and overlooked. So that's something. And as Haitian born and raised, I know that a lot of times, even parents, Haitian parents, some of us, they go to the US and they still in that survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
They still don't have time to cater to um, the how the mental. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
That
one of
even in the US, some of the Haitian children in the household are depressed too, and maybe going through some things that mom and dad don't even know about because mom and dad don't have the time to ever stop and ask exactly, what's going on.
right. I mean, survival mode is even more than just being too busy. It's also about how we train our kids. And this is a Black community issue where we treat our kids like the world out there is dirty. Don't you know that you have to work this much harder as a Black person? And so
Are you
we,
able to hear me?
yes, yes. Can you hear me? Um, okay, just let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, so what I was saying was that um struggling struggling with struggling with
I can hear you. I can hear
str-
you.
yeah, struggling with showing up for our kids is more than just being busy, and this is across the
Yes,
whole
I hear
Black
you. I hear you good.
community. This is across the whole Black community. It's an issue of showing up to our kids with tough love for everything because the world is hard. So let me prepare you for how hard the world is by being harsh in how I love you, you know? So we're not tender, we're not soft, we're not understanding because, oh, don't you know that this is what's facing and what's waiting for you? I'm preparing for you for that harshness. And but in reality, it's like if I need any place to be my refuge,
Mhm.
it's my home life. But we don't even have that within our communities and within our families because they think that to love us is to prepare us for how horrible the world is by refusing to be soft with us.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Tell the viewers who are watching now exactly what you do. Tell them about your podcast, how we recently did a podcast. People that would like to follow you, tell the people who you are, my sister.
Okay.
Smart, educated,
Okay.
Haitian.
So yes, my name
I
is
support you.
Audrey Augustave. You can find me on Twitter or on Instagram as Audrey Tushakti. So AudreyToshakti. So I'm more active on Twitter than Instagram, but you can find me on Instagram. And I've actually recently just launched a podcast, which is about exploring mental health and identity related topics through the Caribbean lens. And so, pretty much in every episode of the podcast, I sit down with one person that's, either from a Caribbean nation or maybe they're a diaspora or something, and we talk about some mental health or identity related topic. And actually, the first episode that I recorded was with Marie, where she's actually very openly and transparently spoke to me about her reunification with her family and just what that process has been like in rebuilding a relationship with her mother. The episode launches tomorrow, so it's Unlocked is the name of the podcast. It's spelled UNLOC''D. I'll put a link, in the comment section when this video is posted if you need me to. So yeah, tomorrow the video of the podcast officially launches. But yeah, it's just a project about beginning to normalize discussions about these things. I mean, I think our family systems function under keeping secrets. And so we don't get to learn and do better than the generations before us because, I mean, think about this. How many times have you guys been to a funeral and then you open up the pamphlet and you're like, who's that? And then that's how you realize, oh, apparently my grandfather had a baby somewhere else, and I didn't know that I had this other aunt or this other uncle, because this is a family secret that everybody's keeping but nobody's talking about. You know, these are the
Mhm.
kind of things that happens, all the time, where we're just finding these random things out. One day you wake up and you realize, oh, I have a half sibling that's 20 years old that nobody told me about, because this is how our families are functioning under the principle of secrecy, under the guise of privacy. And that's how we don't heal, and we keep perpetuating the same mistakes. So to me, I thought it was very important for us to begin to have these conversations out loud, intentionally, and recognize that it's not shame. It's not something to be ashamed of, to raise my hand and say, you know what, I struggle to get along. I struggle to get along with my mother, or to raise your hand and to say, I don't, I have this issue. I'm depressed, or there's nothing wrong with that. That the only way that we can heal from it is when we start to learn to talk about it, because I promise you, we have brothers and sisters everywhere that can relate to our stories.
That's very true. I recently, my sister had a young lady on the show, matter of fact, Amber, and she had a very, very similar story to what you are saying. So many secrets in the family, where her father had attempted to kill her, choke her. It was just a very, very sad story. But what was even more sad was the fact that her mother wanted it kept as a secret,
Mm-hmm.
wanted it as a secret from everyone else. And she is one that today is in counseling for what has happened to her in the past. And she's a success story already in the making. She's in London going to school, but it all goes to show that in 2021, when we think that we've overcome so much, we really haven't overcome the lot.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yes. So, is there anything else that you would like to share before we go?
I mean, I just want to encourage everybody. This is something, a very important point. I think when people see our communities and see that, we're not as open to counseling, I don't think it's inherently wrong. And let me tell you why. I think we have a bad tendency to maybe look up to European nations or the United States of America. Like, we just see what they do when we bring it to our nations without really assessing, is this method an effective method for our culture or our people? So when I say this, I mean, we should be infiltrating our communities and engaging in mental health practices, right? But it doesn't mean that we need to copy and paste what we see into our countries, right? We can, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
culturally, it's normal for us to have maybe like religious leaders that are already embedded within the community, that are trusted, or so the point is, we can decide to address mental health and be mindful of what already works for our community. So I think our communities tend to have function, and that's all Black communities, function in a way where it matters if somebody has a trusted reputation, somebody that can relate. Whereas like in the American culture, the counselor is meant to be a complete stranger that you don't know, you don't talk to. But I think like the Black culture kind of functions better under somebody who is an active, attached member of the community, who knows everybody by name, who grew up seeing all the children, knows all the different families. I mean, so we can take what we see is effective in other nations, but we can also reinvent it before we put it into our community so that it makes more sense for us. You know what I mean? So I think we need to address mental health and be intentional about it, but I think we also need to be the masters of what we adopt into our nation by identifying, hey, like, it's still our culture, there's still our norms, there's certain things that work better for us, so let's reinvent it before we just implement it.
I have a comment. I'm not sure if on your end you're able to see the comments. Are you able to see
Yes,
some
I
of the
am.
comments?
Yes, I
Yes,
am.
you are. Okay. And Nurse Sarah is one that's really making some touching comments. And she's saying, I can relate to sis, saying she's from an educated family. I'm currently working on my doctorate and 31 years old, but I suffer bad from depression, but I'm working in a mental health unit. Um, what would you like to say to Nurse Sarah?
Hi, Sarah. It's, I don't know. I could say for me, I think I know, I don't think it's true. I was in my most depressive state when I was like in school and wearing all these hats in school and working, in a substance abuse facility. And I think there's such a big, when our families move to, when our families move to the United States, there's such a huge pressure for us to make it, and so our success is um it's almost like we have to legitimize their move to this country by being something huge, which is why sometimes we find that um our drive is not necessarily about what we want to do, but it's about like doing something that we feel our parents can feel proud of, even if it's not, what we're connected to. And so I think I find a lot like within the Haitian community that a lot of us are chasing careers and letters behind our names because we feel that's the only way to validate our parents' decisions. In moving to our country outside of their country, so I mean, for me, I struggled a lot when I didn't know what I wanted. At first I was pursuing a med school. It took a lot for me to be able to admit to my family that like I'm not going to med school, and they were my mom was very upset, but I just knew like I was going to be miserable if I went to med school, and I'm really happy that I made that choice. I still struggled a lot with some depression while I was pursuing my education, but I've been working diligently. One thing is, if you're in school, anybody in here that's in school, if you're in school, you can get counseling for free, because every institution, I don't care if it's community college, bachelor's, master's, doctorate, there is some counseling component of the university, and you have access to it for free. So if you're struggling with depression and you're getting your doctorate, that means you have access to counseling for free through whatever institution you're getting your doctorate with. So my recommendation for you is to call the counseling department of your school and get yourself on that list to see a counselor. And so you can start doing the inner work, right? Because we're showing up for other people in a mental health unit is extremely draining, and they're draining you of the little resources that you don't even have for yourself because you're depressed. You know. I did want to add, right?
Thank you,
So
my
I
sister,
saw a
for
little,
sharing.
comment about how, like, oh, it's too bad when Haitian people can't speak Creole. I mean, you know what? I agree. I agree that it's too bad. I don't take it personally. I don't like the fact that I don't speak Creole, but the reality is when I was young and I would try to speak Creole, people would make fun of me. So my recommendation to Haitian people that feel very strongly about Haitian people born in the States that have an accent, and that want to see Haitian people, carry the culture, is stop making fun of Haitian people that don't speak it perfectly if you want the culture to carry on, and then people like me won't exist.
Thank you, sis. We have a great culture, but I don't know what it is, but it took some strength coming into Haiti to step on everything that people was putting in front of me to be ashamed of, to sit in front of the screen with you today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't even know if our people understand that when they make fun of somebody or when they belittle somebody, just how much it can really affect that person.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I can tell you I've had my personal experience, but all the shameful talk, all the keeping secrets because I was returned back to my country. That was a big thing. I was supposed to walk with my head down. I shouldn't tell my story. That was just I sometimes and I even continuously pray about that because sometimes you still come across people that try to instill certain feelings inside of you. I don't think they know different. Some people keep pushing, my sister, and I love your positive attitude. The fact that
Thank
you
you.
were willing to try, and I'm gonna tell you something. Ou pale kreol, chéri, paske pou di mou pa ko ou pat jam viv Haiti, sel ave paran ou wap fe bel bagay. Pa ou ki pan yen, ok? Pa
I'm not upset.
dekouraje.
I'm not upset.
E mte moun,
I just think it's
oh,
important to send. I just think it's important to send the message because you know something. I'm still very proud to be Haitian. I was not born in Haiti, but Haiti was born in me, and
always.
I represent, in the same way that Haitian people are proud of Naomi Osaka, who does not speak Creole, they should still be proud of me, even though I don't have a name that's on TV. You know what I mean? So I don't, I
You
think
will one day, my sister. You are on TV now.
that's true. That's true. But I
And
just
you
want, I
pray
want
my
us.
platform continue to grow, and I promise you, you always welcome to the Life in Haiti family.
Thank you so much. And next time that I'm in Haiti, I absolutely will touch base and make sure that we see each other in person.
Or anytime, my sister, anytime.
All right.
So Wilson Jean made a comment. Il dit un pile parent haïtien pa expérimente l'amour avant timoun yo. Mpa konen si ou kompren sa la di nan. Li di an pil
Mm-hmm.
paran pa ou kompren.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. A lot of time people emulate, mirror what they know. And I go through this even with my own siblings, okay? And they get on to my dad. My dad's not this, he's not that. Dad's all about work. If you guys, that's just who dad is. We just cannot change him. Best man, but there's just some things about him you like, that's not the man I want to marry, right? But he's a
Mm-hmm.
great provider.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that a lot of what Haitian parents give comes from what they've experienced.
Mm-hmm. And what they don't know how to do, right? And that is something that I really had to, and we talked about this a little bit in the podcast. That it's funny because the podcast that we had, I had to remind myself of the kind of compassion that I need to show up to my mother with, because I have to remind myself that what my mom doesn't do sometimes is because she doesn't know how to do, because nobody exemplified it for her, and I have to like forgive her for what she doesn't know how to do, and it's funny because I do come from a family that is very, emotionally expressive. There's a lot of I love yous, and you're beautiful, and you can be anything, and hugging you, but then there's also sometimes some harshness in terms of how people talk about your flaws. That's just like, oh my god, we're in the middle of dinner table now, everybody's talking about how like I gained weight, and everybody's like making fun of me, or I don't know, you know what I mean. But yeah, but
I understand.
yeah,
I
but
understand.
yeah, but I mean, I think sometimes we just have to move with forgiveness, and as far as the parents, but then also emulate something a little bit more tender, and be open to doing something without always needing to receive it from people first. So recognizing, if I extend a hug to this uncle, because I have an uncle who was not affectionate at all. He's the one who just passed away. He was not affectionate. But if I did go up to him to hug him, he would accept my hug. And so I had to accept, you know what? He's not gonna hug me first, but when I show him love, he'll appreciate it. And it's because he in a lot of ways he was just scared to be rejected, And I do have to say that I actually do have to go after
I'm
this.
gonna tell you something, my sister. Okay. Okay. Well, I won't keep you long. I thank you so much for coming on the show. It was awesome having you.
Thank you so much. Thank you
You
so
want to say
much.
anything else? I would not hold you too long, but before you go, I'll share. something. My father, mirror example. I have siblings that are watching us tonight and they can account to it. Y'all, for years, my dad never told me I love you. Now,
Mm,
remind you, he took me from my mom as a kid, was never affectionate. I remember stealing I love you from my dad behind prison bars. I had to steal that hug. And now he says it freely. And when
mm,
I go to hang up the phone, I kind of pause sometime to see if I'll get it. And now he gets it.
mm-hmm,
But it took for me at an older age. And it wasn't that he didn't love me because all his actions, all his life had been dedicated to protecting me. But that's just not something he was raised to do. But thank you
mm-hmm.
so, so much, my sister. God bless you.
Thank
Stay
you.
nice, all right? We'll
Thank
do it
you.
again.
Absolutely. And
Thank you so,
everybody
so
that's
much.
listening, once again, unlocked the podcast, UN-LOC''D. And the episode with Marie launches tomorrow, and she does such a beautiful job of processing her reunification with her mother and the work that she did to rebuild a positive relationship with her mother. So if you're interested in getting a little in depth in ways that maybe some episodes didn't have so much, on her YouTube channel, she really goes all the way in and no holds barred, as she always is very transparent. So thank you, and God bless everybody.
God bless you too, my sister. You have a blessed night.
All right.
So, you all, it was good to have her. And for the many people, you all, doing this, and of course, not only representing Haiti, but the people of everywhere. Let's be, more kinder. Let's check on each other a lot more, okay? For parents, my Haitian parents, parents haïtiens, et nous c'est bon parents, bon bagay. Lowe, foreign parents, an pil nan nou se bon bagay. Men se pou nou apren, pou nou ba an ti emosyon. Gende pafwa, ou gen nou ba an ti bo, ba an ti ambras. Ou kompren, di ti moun yo I love you. Gende pafwa, ou kompren, fè ti moun nan konen ke, paske an pil fwa ou gen nou a pense ke mwen eme an mpe tout kay pou, e mwen fè sa, e mwen fè sa, e mwen fè sa. Men lò fè ti moun lot bo, li non lot sistem, bagay yo pa même system que ou même ou habite avec là. So you all, not just for my people in Haiti, but for everyone that's watching, let's just learn to be kinder to each other as parents. Exemplify love, you all, because it is those examples, believe it or not, we know we're human, okay? So many of us that are watching have lived many more years than me. Know that things that are instilled in us at a young age are things which will carry us all through our life. And as I shared, it took for me to be behind prison bars, you all, and had been there many years to finally get an I love you from my father. Now, I knew my dad loved me. I never questioned his love because his action, I knew he loved me, but yet he never really exemplified it in ways that my American friends, parents would exemplify it to them. And I longed for that. So when I got incarcerated, I started taking classes. Then I started learning. A lot of times we're looking for things from people that they don't even know how to give us. So thank you so, so much, Wilson, for that comment. That is where a lot of the problems, a lot of the secrets, things come from, especially within the Haitian community. It is because we are looking for something from somebody that they don't know how to give because they've grown accustomed to doing things the way that they're used to. So I just thank you all so, so very much. Hold on a second. Let me go through the comments. Thank you all for interacting. Oh, I see we have some comments today, you all. My internet It's a little bit backed up. Hold on a second. Wilson says, Papam te tu patu ap gren pitit, mais sa lèl mouri ouais tout petit yo paret nan teman, y apre la hamwe papa. Wilson, no, ken moun bat konen te gen tout petit sa. Mr. Wilson say his dad just like a rolling stone, had kids everywhere, and at the funeral, all kind of people came out and was just like, "This is my daddy." Secret, everything done in dark will come to light. That's right. It's nothing to be ashamed about. Acknowledge it and deal with the situation. The beat we can. That's right. Melaine D, hello, welcome. And Charles says, I love the hair, Marie. Thank you so much. I'm letting my hair breathe, you all. A lot of times when I'm out and about all the times, I'd rather have braids so I don't have to be sitting up doing hair. But today I said, you know what? I'm wearing my own hair. And it feels good too. Not all that extra heavy stuff. What is her Twitter, Instagram? I will be posting it in the detail after the live. I will, so you all please check her out. Anyone that's watching who has yet to subscribe to Life in Haiti, the channel is continuously growing, and I just want to thank you all. Also, I've been doing some background work. I have a Patreon account set up, you all. Y'all know what the real deal with me, okay? I'll give you the extra scene, so just be slow and continue to just support and help me to grow and learn more and more. So if you would like to support me on Patreon, get extra exclusive clips, some of the stuff that I don't show, more and more of my daily life, interact more. Um, I will be posting that clip. And I just want to thank Miss Edrin also, who has stayed on me about doing that. And I finally got it done. So thank you all so much for that. But I will get Miss Audrey. I will get her Instagram and Twitter put in the link. Hello, Maria and the Life in Haiti family. Nice conversation. Thank you. Your success is their expectations. Very true. And I tell people all the time, I have no regrets in my life. Pas gen regret même dans la vie. Tout ça m'passe, même qu'elle était bon, même qu'elle pas bon, pas gen regret. Celle ça m'ka di, m'ka mouri regret, ce que moi pas de faire que parents m'content. I could say honestly, one of the only regrets I will have in my life is not making my parents proud, actually being what Haitian parents call successful with the title, the office, yada, yada, yada. Y'all know that are watching. But every day I strive to make them proud right where I'm at. And that's what matters. That's what matters is, righting my wrongs. Yes, me too. The more successful I get, the more pressure I'm under. Thanks for your advice, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Sarah, for joining us tonight. Thank you. They expect you to succeed by all means because you as a child should be the one to help the family tomorrow. Always, always. So I just want to thank you all tonight. I was pursuing a dental school degree when I had an aunt who talked me out of it because she believed the dentist was not a real doctor and then I should pursue a medical degree. YBA, I'm sorry to hear that, And that's the thing, we have to be kinder, be kinder. Black Caterpillar, Marie Regis, Natty Slim, Forgotten King. YBA, Yoli. I'm late. I'm late, but it's a very good subject. Nobody can give something they haven't. That's right, Yoli. I'm glad you all joined me tonight. God bless you all. Keep in mind, you all check on each other. Number one reason for this is about we have depression that is ravaging our community. Don't say that's not going to happen to me because we never know. People are taking their lives, and every day they walking in and out the house, looking normal, laughing normal. Next thing you know, you getting a call, somebody took their own life, and you wondering, well, what was going on? So let's make it our business, you all, to check on loved ones. Even if you on the train and you notice somebody's depressed, sometimes it's okay. I know we don't want to be in people's business, but it's either okay to say how you doing, maybe even share a prayer with someone, give a compliment, something, because you never know. You just may be saving a life, okay? As always, you all be kind to one another. Tell somebody you love them. Let's not take the people in our life for granted because we know the days we've done, yet we don't know the days we have left. Keep Haiti lifted up. Look on Haiti. Everything is, I don't know, the streets was empty today, were a little creepy, which kind of tell you to approach carefully. So continue to keep Haiti lifted up. Continue to keep our world lifted up, you all. Stay blessed. Till next time. Y'all have a good night. Good night, you all.